story, you are very passionate. I hear that you're very passionate about working with children. And definitely that's something that you love, as you mentioned previously. But on the other hand, you have that constant uh, struggle with, okay, you have to meet your numbers, and you have that pressure on you. Now, I would like to ask you, if you don't mind me asking, the following question. What about children motivates you to keep to continue working here in this place? What is it about children that still allows you to wake up and still want to make a difference in their lives
Mhm.
despite the
Um,
struggles?
yeah. Well, I always liked helping. I've always worked with kids. I was at like Boys and Girls Club. I was doing tutoring. Um, so helping kids is just a passion of mine. But in specific, like in the role that I'm in now, um, I deal a lot with, like foster kids or kiddos that go through trauma. Um, and then sometimes, especially if they're like a foster kid, foster parents sometimes they're not as loving as your bio parents, right? So to me, in that specific situation, like I would want to be someone that, is there for them, someone that's gonna like hear them out, hear their story, understand what they went through. And a lot of the times, like foster parents just see the bad, like, well, he's throwing things and he's yelling and not following instructions. Um, but it's like, okay, well, it's not just that, like what else is going through their little head, like what is like, why are they throwing the things, were they mad at something? Did you say something to trigger this, and it's like, it's funny because I always get parents like, well, I didn't do anything, is them, they're not listening. um but then also it's like, well, are you listening to what they're saying? Like if they tell you, I don't like this, and you keep giving them the same thing, and yeah, they're gonna get mad, and yes, they're gonna throw things. So me being just someone that's gonna be there for them, and even if I'm just meeting them for an hour, um, because I would, when I go see them, I give them that space where I'm here for you. Whatever you want to do is okay. I always have something planned, but if they don't want to do it, then it's fine. Um, so I always tell them like, okay, what do you want to do? Like, and then I can see it in their face sometimes. Like it makes me happy when I see them, oh, I just want to draw, or can I share what happened at school? And so just like, I feel like at that point, I'm offering something outside of what they're dealing with on a daily basis. So that in itself is what keeps me going.
Thank you for sharing, Claudia. As I hear your story, I feel that you're very passionate from, well, especially working with children and foster who are going through the system in foster care homes who lack that support and love at home. So you want to offer that support, what they're lacking at home, you want to offer that. And that strengthens your passion and your willingness to continue and not give up on them. Uh, Now, if you don't mind me asking, when did you realize that you wanted to work with children?
Um, hmm. It was, um, let's see. So at the place where I'm at now, like it's gonna be 4 years now. Um, and in those 4 years, I've worked with 2-year-olds up to like 18-year-olds. Um, and so I've worked with like different age ranges. And I've noticed that even though I love working with children, elementary school age children are, I think, in my opinion, are the best. Um, because they're they're exploring, they're like very curious. And like middle school and high school kids, I feel like um I don't know, it's hard. It was hard for me to kind of help them and guide them when they're like mature, I would say, like more mature than elementary school age kids. Um, and I think like the elementary school age kids are more willing to, accept that support. Whereas like in my experience, middle school and high school students were like, well, no, and I'm not doing that because my mom needs to do this first. Um, and so it was very like them versus their parents, and with the little kiddos, I tell them like, well, have you tried this? Or let's try this. And they're like, yeah, they get very excited. Um, so that to me, I feel like at that stage is where the support will be more effective, when it comes to, as they grow into like the middle school and the high school, like they'll be able to take those lessons they learned when they were younger and then apply them later on.
Thank you for sharing, Claudia. As I hear you, you definitely prefer working with elementary kids versus higher grades, just because they're more willing and open to explore and to explore new possibilities or new things that you offer them, or they're more open to working with you. If I'm understanding correctly, is that correct?
Yeah. I think they are. They just want to be everybody's friend, like at that point. Especially like in the past, when I'm in a classroom and everyone just says hi to me. Like a little kiddos just say hi to me and they want to come and hug me. Um, but like I have to be professional and be like, oh no, like, we gotta do high fives. But I think like they're so innocent at that age. And like the kiddos that I dealt with have gone through really heavy stuff, whether it's like neglect or abuse. So like it's hard to see when they don't have anybody to support them. Um, so just being there as a support, being that person that's gonna, hear them out. I don't know. I think it's like, to me, it's like the best part. Um, because I don't know, I feel like maybe sometimes they feel alone, and being so young and dealing with like heavy stuff like that can be very, I don't know, very hard and sad, especially if at home they don't have anybody like to talk to, or they don't feel supported.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So as I hear you, you are definitely very empathetic towards students who are going through, like you mentioned it, going through hard situations in their life, and that they're lacking support at home and love at home. So definitely you want to offer that to them, and that pretty much it's what triggers your passion for helping them and making a difference in their lives. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. It's hard seeing like a parent when they say, well, they just don't want to listen, or they're doing the same thing all the time. Um, and it's like, I don't know, like seeing a kid not receive that love from their family, it's harsh, like I can't imagine, being in their place, but I definitely want to, like be empathetic towards them. Like you said, I want to, like, I feel, like their sadness when they share like a story, like, oh, like so and so didn't like a letter and they ripped it up. And it's hard hearing that because, like the kiddo is making efforts and they're trying, and then parents are not willing to accept it. Um, it's It's very sad.
Well, thank you for sharing, Claudia. As I hear you, it brings a lot of emotions when you speak about children who are going through difficult times at home, where their parents are not being supportive or loving and caring for their children. Um, and definitely you want to be that support, and definitely you want to show that you care for them, and that in instances where they may feel alone, there's actually someone there for